I love that you already mentioned Dark Knight because I've come across this in the research. You mentioned that as a formative experience. And like, there are two actors that always come up on this podcast when I
Yeah,
talk to actors from like
of course.
20 to 60. It's Philip Seymour Hoffman and Heath Ledger.
And Heath Ledger, yeah, because
Ledger and
they have the same gaze. The pair of them have the same. They say something, and then their eyes say something else, and then there's this other thing that just gets into your stomach when you're
yeah.
watching them. And that's I don't know what that is. I don't know what that. Uh, it's an unattainable thing, and I think it's moved all of us. You know,
So you have indelible memories. You're what, like 11 years old or so when you
11.
see
Yeah,
when you see Dark Knight, and
yeah.
it's everything about it. But in particular, is it that Joker performance that knocked you back?
Yeah, because I'm sure you remember too, the marketing. There was these posters that said "Why so serious?" in the fog of the
Yes.
there was a fogged out window, and there was this like sort of purple silhouette behind the fog, and all you could see was his smile in the. And even now, I can like I'm terrified of that thing. And then I remember it was the first time I was aware of press. I
Right.
remember driving to school and hearing people talk on the radio, and they were like, "Well, don't take your young ones because there's a pencil scene that is just, like highlighting this one sort of point." And I remember sitting in the car and being like, how does he make the pencil? Because like he makes a pencil disappear in a way that will make your stomach turn." And I was like,
Right.
how could you make a pencil disappear in my stomach turn? I remember not really fully understanding it. And then one time my mum was away and my dad had taken me on a basketball trip. And I remember we were driving after that radio interview, and I was like, please, I know mum said no, but please, like, please take me to see that. I've got to see this movie.
Yeah.
And we went and saw it, and I'll never forget when the pencil the pencil disappeared. I just about threw up out of out of excitement, like just pure excitement. Every movement he does with the grenade strings as he backs
I
out of the
know.
room, everything, the humor, the depth, the voice, the movement, the costume, and then just the film, Nolan's film as well, which is
Well,
an
and
interesting thing because now to speak like this about that movie, because of the internet, it's become a cinema boy trope,
justifiable in this case. It
which
can't
is
be overhyped. It's okay.
which is sad because it is a
It's
masterpiece,
legit. Yeah.
and for a certain generation, it did rupture our movie going experience,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
It,
very few films have really done that because we were sort of going into a different kind of commercial cinema at the time. So I think it is historically a really important film and performance. You
it's
know.
also then you when you grow up and you get a little older and you start to get serious about this and you think
Mm.
about the context of his career, and
Mhm.
it is applicable to many young actors like yourself at this juncture,
Totally.
where like what he did with this, like, he could have been the pretty boy taking kind of the
Yeah.
boring leading man roles, but
Yeah.
like Brokeback and
Yeah.
Bob Dylan and
Yeah.
Joker, it was like
He was
that
doing
that
something. He was doing something else. And if you watch him speak in interviews, he was talking about something else. He was pushing something else, and that something else, I think, is something that's vital to not just cinema, but to art,
yeah.
to being here. I do think he was one of our great artists, and I am biased because when I realized that he came from just the other side of my country, and I realized that he drove across to Sydney, which is what I was going to do as soon as I finished school. When I realized it was a tangible thing,
Yeah.
and that somebody from home could cultivate something like that. It's an inspiration that I'll never be able to say thank you enough for.